In the words of my good friend DJ Euphonic, Tulagati, hey, hey! Tulagati, hey, hey! Dumela Sabona Konjani. Good evening, beautiful people of Johannesburg, to this very auspicious occasion. First time people here, I just want to see your hands. Not so bad. Not so bad tonight. My name is Deborah, and on behalf of Scoobs Theatre of Books, I'd like to welcome you here tonight to the home of African authors. In the last 2 years, we've launched almost 300 African authors in this store. Our stories are here. I was just saying to one of the guests tonight, how can we get to know each other if we do not read each other's stories? How do we get to know each other and avoid all conflict when we do not read each other's stories? Relevant stories that belong in South Africa. 80% of those authors are women. You know how it goes, eh? So tonight is a very special occasion. We actually got a king in the house. My love affair with Siphiwe started 2 years ago. You didn't know that, eh? Finding Makoti. That's my next book launch, Finding Makoti. Check out the Scoobs Facebook page. It's going to be a hectic one. Scotty Wang, a black man with the name of Scotty Wang. Remember that name. I met Siphiwe over 2 years ago. My love affair started with him when he bought me his first book called Bulls and Bears. And he said, Aramara Deborah, I don't think I'm ready for this yet. And I said, Sips, you know, let's take it one step at a time. And he brought out another book, Stagnation Must Fall. And I thought, oh, this man is definitely, as I said to Alex tonight, my motto is I set trends, I do not follow them. And setting trends comes from people like yourselves, when you tell us what you want. And Sipho still wasn't ready. He just said, no, Deb's not ready. Stagnation must fall, not ready. And I thought, wow. Because, I mean, that's a message for me. Get off your ass and do it for yourself, man. And then he came to me and he said, this is it. Third book. And I said to him, okay. But that cover, winner. I'm known as the book cover dragon. I said, she's not speaking to me. And I introduced him to me, the best cover designer in Johannesburg, Mr. Greg Davies, who's sublime. And Siphiwe was hooked, line and sinker. And at last, after 2.5 years of doing this, I get to read his third book, which we are launching tonight, and he's all grown up. He is all grown up. He's ready to rock this party tonight. What a wonderful crowd. Mr. Moyo, I am so impressed with you, sir. And it is a great honor for me to stand here tonight in front of you to welcome our newest author into Scoobs Theatre of Books. I mean, look at that word. Tell me what it says backwards, and you'll understand why it's called Scoobs. Mr. Moyo, at last, sir, it's been an absolute honor to be your friend, to be in your life, to follow you, and to watch this journey to this launch. I'm so proud of you. You're laughing at me, ne? And then, of course, we have a fantastic MC tonight, Kim Hunter from Tango with Text. Thank you, Mani, for doing this. She's live streaming this to a lot of people We actually live stream this to across the world. We have a following across the world, so it's not just in here that the books get noticed. They get noticed all over the world. And tonight we have the honor of one of the greatest motivational speakers. I mean, it's fantastic, these motivational speakers in here. I've learned, I read 300 books a year. My education comes from books, honeys. It does not come from an educational institution. And for that, I thank the authors for every book that I have read for my education. And if we can just remember that, self-education is key. We don't have to rely on anybody else. And listening and learning from each other. And tonight we have a fantastic MC, which I'm going to hand over, and I want you to have a fantastic evening. Mr. Moyo has put on a hell of a spread for you tonight. Tea, coffee, water. I'm glad some of you have bought the books. Cool drinks, beer and wine at the bar. And of course, all this beautiful food. Tabang, where are you? His beautiful wife, thank you for being here, and his beautiful daughter. And I'm going to hand over to another great who I've been following, Mr. Alex Granger.
Sure, she's a cool white chick, right? Thank you, Deborah, and thank you. Welcome to everyone. Welcome this evening. You guys look awesome. And Zipho, I'm just going to fine you for posting that photo showing my mkaba. Stop it. Nice to see you. It's really great to have friends, family, business associates, partners, and the like. But a special welcome to Tabang and Obakeng, Siphiwe's wife and daughter. And I'm going to take the liberty now to also welcome Twice Blue people, because you know we are the Twice Blue people. Yes! Siphiwe, our CEO, I don't know where you're sitting, but you're somewhere around here and we've got Nicholas at the back, our BDE, and C2 sitting over there. Wave, C2. And Danny, you used to be, but we still love you. And I saw Granny as well, yes. So thank you very much for coming this evening tonight. It really is about the amazing work that Siphiwe has done, and he has touched many lives. And so we're really grateful for another chapter. I can tell you, he got the books this morning. And I've never seen the man stressed like he was. He came to the office with no laptop. And we're like, let's get you a chair. He says, I'm not here to work. I want my books. And eventually when they got there, all he said was like, Shandara Bossi, yes, Rima Kendere Sheshe. Hey! True story, right? So I'm sure you feel very relieved. And we're obviously going to have a conversation a little later, but really tonight we're here to honor you for the amazing work that you've done through your book that is going to change lives. About stuff. Anyway, thank you so much. Right. So we've come to that time now we have a chat with this man called Siphiwe. And, hey guys, I have to tell you who he is, ne? If you don't know, straight from his website. Siphiwe is a sought after. Bakudinga baba. Kusho ukuthi bakudinga njengamanje. Yeah, you are sought. Sort of. Sought after, top-rated international motivational keynote speaker, facilitator, author, based in South Africa. He is an adjunct faculty member at Gibbs. We saw anyone from Gibbs here? Gibbs, Henley. Hey, I think I saw Henley, Glenn from Henley, and Wits Business School. Hey, adjunct. Say after me, adjunct. Yeah. Turn to your neighbor, say faculty. Now, it's important, pronunciation, guys. It's faculty, not far. I can't finish that. It's wrong. Far. It's just wrong. Anyway, this is what Siphiwe holds from a qualifications point of view. Buffett, are you ready? An MBA, an executive development program, a BCom honors in people development, a bachelor's degree cum laude. You must say cum, not the other one. Not cum. It's cum. Cum laude in human resources, currently studying his MSc in human resources, co-founder and chief people/chief learning officer at Twice Blue, current chairman at the South African Board for People Practices, past chapter president of the Professional Speakers Association, member of the Global Speakers Federation, father, husband, dancer. Hey, we know those things. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Siphiwe Moyo. Nazo.
No. One more.
Give us volume there.
Watch out!
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. It was pretty wonderful of you to dance this evening. It's not scripted. So, thank you, Siphiwe. So, Via Midway is the new book. And it's your third book, right? Third book. Yeah, you must speak into the mic. Yeah, it's good to do that from time to time. What happens then, the voice goes through cables to the speakers, so it's good. Thank you. So tell us, why did you write this book? Like, because I saw you stressing in the office all the time, like, oh, guys, I'm not sure I should do this. And even now that you've done it, you're like, yeah, never again. But we know. Oguti, book number 4 is already in the making. Yeah. So why did you write this book? What inspired you to do this?
Can I ask for a favor before I answer? So there are people at the back, I don't think they can hear us. Ne?
Guys, don't you want to come closer? Bring your chairs, let's huddle. Can you hear? Sorry, we can't hear you. Use the mic. Oh, you don't have a mic. Sorry, my bad. I see you. Pussy, sorry, man. Okay, so Via Midway.
Yeah.
The story, the motivation, the inspiration behind the book.
So I've been teaching this thing called personal change at business school. And many people will know that I actually teach at business school. I teach change management. And in fact, some of my students I was teaching yesterday, they're here to support. Thanks, guys. Where are they?
Yeah, the students.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
So
Economy class. We see you at the back there.
I teach change management. And one of the things we teach at change management is something called personal change. And as I was teaching personal change, there's one fascinating theory around this thing called transitions. And that helped me as I was going through a very major transition in my life. And as it was helping me, I thought, maybe if this thing is helping me and I don't have too much problems, so maybe it will help the people who have problems because mine are just small. So I thought maybe I can write the book to help.
To help, yes. So so when I read the book, I was saying to myself, yeah, this is very interesting. I can feel and sense the theory. You've just mentioned it now, right? It's the transitional theory.
Yeah.
What is that?
So when people
But I can hear this transition.
Yeah.
Osmosis.
When organizations implement change,
Right.
or people go through change, transition is about the psychological way of processing change. So when we go through transition, whether in our careers or in our lives, there's this transition model by William Bridges that says you go through 3 stages. Mm-hmm. The first thing is you go through an end. So if you break up with somebody, one of the things that needs to happen is to acknowledge that this thing has ended before you can move on. And it's amazing how long it takes for somebody to realize this relationship has ended. Sometimes all of us can see, but you, just to say this thing has ended takes a very long time. And so you have to acknowledge that, and because it's a sense of loss, you feel like you've lost something, and then you go through the next stage called the neutral zone. The neutral zone is when you're in between zones. You are not where you want to be, you are not where you were, but you are in this confused zone. You are in this midway where you feel very confused, you feel very frustrated, because all of a sudden, you don't know what you actually do for a living, for fun yourself. You wake up on a Saturday morning, you're like, hey, Ponja, what do I do? Because you've been doing this thing for many years, and suddenly you're in this between zone. That's why when your ex calls you, by the way, and say, hey, I miss you, it's not really that they miss you. It's because they're uncomfortable with this neutral zone. Because it's a very uncomfortable space. You don't know what to do with yourself. And if you can learn how to be comfortable in your discomfort, then you can move to new beginnings, where you embrace change and you go through the right steps.
So if your ex, you need to tell them, get thee behind me, Satan.
But,
I've moved on. Okay, so that's what inspired the title, Via Midway.
Yes.
So a lot of us here who hasn't heard Siphiwe doing a keynote, like speaking? Most of us have, right? So you over there that haven't heard Siphiwe, but didn't you guys help with the book though? Cover? Yeah. Awesome.
You know this cover people don't read. They're like, let me just design it.
But anyway, so I know you talk about that train. How many of you know the train number? What's the train number?
Something.
Anyway, 64. What's the train number, Peter?
9003.
9003, ne? No, but you must use the mic. Just press the parliament, comrade, order. Press the button, yeah. Okay, so that's what inspired the title.
Yeah.
But I want to understand something about your writing journey, right? Because this is your third book.
Yeah.
And I find that as an author, we use different styles in writing. Sometimes we can write. I know another author who writes like, I can write a book every year. And I'm like, ish, I don't know what else if you got another life. But how were you doing the writing? Like, what was that journey like? Because I used to wake up in the morning at 6 and you've already posted about 3. Those of you following on Facebook, there's something from Via Midway. What were you doing? Where was Tabang? That's what I want to know. I was like, Shooty, come back to bed. So were you getting the best motivation in the morning?
I do get my ideas in the morning. So I do write in the morning, and somehow I get inspired in the morning. And because I'm fresh and so on, and
fresh. Yeah.
I write at about 3 o'clock because at like 3 p.m. I'm tired. So I always write in the morning when I have ideas. I have ideas in the morning, they flood me, you know? And sometimes I just have to get it out. And I use Facebook to just get these words out, mainly Facebook, because Insta is for young people. And so...
Yeah, Facebook is for old people.
So that's how I write. But the Via Midway story, so you've heard me talk about when I take the train at 4:30 in the morning, 9003, that was to go to work.
Right.
When we came back in the afternoon, we took another train called Vereeniging Via Midway.
Right.
And there's a reason it was called Via Midway, and Orange Farm people can relate. Because there was another Vereeniging train called Via Marathon. And so it was always interesting to me that because of overcrowding, sometimes you would take a train that's not going to Vereeniging, it's going to a place called Western Area, 04. Who knows that one? Yes. Yeah. You take that one and then you branch out at Midway. So Midway is your Midway station, is a transitional zone. When you're at Midway, you know you're not going to Midway, you're going through Midway. And so I thought, you know, there are a lot of things that we go through, but we must never really forget where we are going to. So when you're at Midway, you don't celebrate and think you have arrived. You're clapping for me. When you're at Midway, you don't chill and say, I've arrived, because you haven't arrived.
Yeah.
You're just Midway. You can celebrate, but if you chill, you're going to forget to get where you need to be. And so that's how it came.
So there must be some benefits of being at Midway.
Yeah.
What are those?
The benefit is that you are not where you were.
Right.
You've already gone somewhere,
Yeah.
right? And that's where the biggest mistake you can make at Midway, 2 mistakes that you can make at Midway. Number 1 is to think that you've arrived. Yeah. Number 2 is to think that you will never arrive. Yeah. Because sometimes Midway is so frustrating. We would wait, because you were taking a train that goes to Western Area, you get out at Midway, you wait for the Vereeniging train, it takes forever. There's delays after delays after delays. It can feel like you are no longer going to go where you're supposed to go, but if you stick to it long enough, the train will come. Because the worst thing you can do is to go to Western Area. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to sit and do nothing instead of going the wrong direction.
That's right. Yeah. Good one. So I hear there's a whites only version of your book.
Yes.
It's called Via Marlborough for the Gautrain people. Right. It's like when you're going from Midrand to the airport.
Yeah.
You got to get off at Marlborough, go across down. So we haven't left you out. It's going to be translated into super English.
The only reason I couldn't use that is that I was going to say Malboro.
Marlborough, yes.
This is like, yeah.
So here's another question, because what I find very often in the work that you do, and a lot of people who are involved in this inspirational, motivational space, is that how does one engage in the future without forgetting the lessons of the past?
Yeah. I think the past helps you to process what is going on, but you should not allow the past to paralyze you. This is how we work with Linda.
Yeah, no, we have some collaborators.
Linda always does this to me. Yeah, don't give him the mic. No, don't give him the mic. He'll take over this one. So I talk about, I think it's chapter 2 in the book, something that I call transition guilt. One of the things that happen to you when you've changed levels is that you can have transition guilt where you look at where you were and you look at the people that you grew up with. They're not doing well, they're struggling. And sometimes you feel so guilty that it paralyzes you. And you refuse to embrace your new level. Yeah. Because you still want to hold on to things. You're like, I want to, you know, I don't want them to think now I've let go. And you cause yourself to shrink to accommodate your past. And you delay your next level when you do that.
So those of you who haven't read the book, let me tell you, it's extremely encouraging. It's like so inspirational. I was looking for like some of the places where you'll be like telling us a piece of your mind, but like the whole book is so uplifting. And I even said to you after I read it, like, Siphiwe, are you sure you shouldn't be like Mfundisi in some way? Like I don't know. I'm just saying.
Don't go.
I know you've kind of
don't cut.
So here's another quick question around this transitional space, because I think there's another danger. So you're at Midway, then your train to your final destination arrives, you get onto it, and you get home. Some of us, home is also a Midway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
How do we transition from home? Out of home? Because home is a Midway for some people, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're home with your mom and you're 28.
Yeah.
It's via Midway food.
So I've always thought that 3 steps to personal change. And if you want to change anything in your life, you go through these 3 steps. And the first one for me is you have to be dissatisfied with where you are. And you have to look at this current space and say, no, man, I'm tired of being here. And if I'm 40, I'm staying with my mom. If I'm not tired and you get tired on my behalf, I won't change. I must be the one who's saying this thing is no longer working. And without that kind of like discontentment, you cannot move to the next stage, which I call, it's this thing called personal vision.
Right.
Then you start dreaming and saying, where actually do I want to see myself? And I always think about personal vision this way. You know, when we used to watch Bafana games, I don't watch anymore because for obvious reasons. But when we used to watch Bafana games, there was this time where they would play in the rest of the continent, and somehow the SABC didn't have rights to the broadcast.
Yeah.
So they would be playing, and they had this funny thing called delayed live, where it's a contradiction in terms. Something is either live or delayed, but they would have delayed live. So they would play a game 2 hours after it was played. And when you watch a game where you know the score, you behave differently. Because when the opposition comes, attacks and counter-attacks, you kind of like, give it your all. I know the score, Mos. Come on, do everything you want to do. And when you have a personal vision, when you're going through stuff, it helps you because you know this is not where it's going to end. I'm going through this thing. I have a score in my mind. And until I'm there, this thing, I can't stop until I see what I see here.
Touching yourself, I see you catching feelings. My last question before we ask, guys who also want to ask a couple of questions and comments, is this notion around the fact that, and maybe it's more of advice, I don't know what you can say about this, but people who want to live their lives to impress others. are also at Midway.
Yes.
Because they're living for others. I must drive a car so you can see, no, actually I've arrived, but actually you're in debt.
Yeah.
You know, I must live in this particular place, but actually you're in Midway.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for those people who are saying, like, I want, because like, at the end of the day, I mean, the comedian was saying funny things, or summary, but he was on point on some of these things. Like, when you die, you're in the same grave, and you leave debt. Some people have left families in serious debt while they portray this powerful image. What advice do you have? Because statistically speaking, they are here, some of them. You know yourself. Could be me.
So I'm very passionate about personal finance, you know. In fact, when I started speaking, I used to speak about personal finance. That's why I wrote a book called Bulls and Bears. I'm very passionate about that space and just understanding the power of money, just the ability to calm down when you have money. Because, you know, in my view, the only way you go through a bad season is based on what you do when you are in a good season. But many people, you know, it's when you're in a good season, you don't understand that seasons come. And seasons always come. We have 4 seasons for something. If you can learn how to make money and calm down and not upgrade everything, you will be fine, because it has been proven that 95% of people in the world, as soon as they get an increase at work, they upgrade something. I want to upgrade my clothes, I want to upgrade my shoes, I want to upgrade my phone, and that contributes to our poverty.
Upgrade my wife.
So sometimes you must just get an upgrade and not upgrade everything.
You say that in your talk, so
Yeah.
I can upgrade my wife. Yeah, okay, no, I hear you. But before we get there, and before I summarize, in summary, we've got a surprise act for you, and I want you to put your hands together for a Comic Choice Award winner, an amazing comedian this evening. Please put your hands together for Summary.
No sound unyana, nothing. Just in Jeburugutubulu. This is for everyone out here. Hey, I went. Whose child is this, Mara? Kiwana mango. Jay. Thank you, DJ. Whew. This is for you, my fellow friends. Dumelang. There's something powerful. Ka poverty. There's something powerful. Ka poverty. Poverty makes us united. Raratana. Cause all broke. Ufila omungo broke. Cause raseba. Ooh, begin. Cause I mean, I don't understand why. And people say this thing, and I hate it. But money is the root of all evil. That's a lie. Poverty is the root of all evil. Poverty. You can buy Mercedes, Oxalayo. The grave is the same. The grave is the same. We have all the verses to console ourselves. What profits a man to gain the world and lose his soul? I'd rather be poor ashamed. Kampani ka sokola. Mara mujimu anrata. Ramasedi. Unalena. Go. Oh, mama. They always send these stupid kids. I don't know. Kalimina. Le omeng. Umamami. Bega tinzo kelushu girl.
I know you're a man of faith, a man of God.
Yes.
And I don't think you could ever remove yourself
Yes.
from that and discount yourself from that. What are your thoughts on praising in the good times?
Yes.
Because like this comedian was going on about, hey, poverty and God, people like to connect. What has your experience been writing this book and your faith experience and your journey with God?
Look, Alex, I'm in a very interesting period in my life, and I think I'll go there. I'm in a period where the people that I grew up with sometimes think I've sold out on the faith because they want me to speak verses all the time and whatever, and the other people are thinking I'm still stuck up. So I'm in this very interesting space, but because I teach transition, I chilled about it. But because I've gone through a period that I'm starting to understand my mandate a bit better. And I understand that if you're gonna impact other people who are not from your faith, you don't have to hoy verses all the time. In fact, sometimes people send you verses and still not greet you. So there's a bit of change in thinking, but the core of my faith is the same.
Oh, look at you, Jesus. So, one last thing. I know.
Now, you've been saying last for the past.
Yeah, but I said one last question. Now, this is thing. It's long, but it's long is a country. Listen, we follow you on social media, and one of the things that you are also launching tonight is Elinye Tuba. Elinye Tuba. So we want to play that song on Elinye Tuba. Then we're going to ask you just to tell us briefly about it, and then we'll engage the audience on a few questions.
Okay.
Can we play that? Okay, so Elinye Tuba is another chance.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So I decided to start a social responsibility program called Elinye Tuba, hashtag Bus of Hope. And I decided I want to make a difference in my community. So what we're going to do, everyone who's purchased the book today, literally, has helped me start Elinye Tuba. I'm going to take proceeds from that book, from the book sales, go to townships and rural areas, take some of the stuff that we teach at business schools and teach it for free, and pay for certain people to go to artisan schools and so on and so forth to change their life.
Yeah, you're really doing the Tumamina stuff. Okay, we're going to open it up to Q&A, guys. Anybody who's got questions, comments? In fact, I know Refilwe wanted to ask a question this morning in the office. So, Refilwe, I'm going to come to you because I can.
She must come here. Boss lady, come here.
Oh yeah, you've been ordered.
If you can, I'm just,
No, you've been
please.
Come to the front. People want to see you also. Come.
Do you want to see our business partner?
Come, Refilwe.
Please come. Dalamavo. Yo. Dallas family. Hi.
Congratulations on your new book.
Thank you.
I've been waiting for it for forever.
Thank you.
Because I can see the personal impact of the book, but I'm sure there's a lot of leaders in the room. And I'd love to know, how do leaders start their people on this transitional journey? I know you teach change management, but I think when we talk transition, and I mean in this changing world of work, there's a lot of it happening. So how can we apply the same principles of the book to corporate?
You.
As she goes back, too late, slow. Okay.
So one of the things in the module, on change is something called leadership transition. And leadership transition is a very powerful thing that shows you what must you do as a leader when you're taking over a new team. And one of the biggest mistakes leaders make when they take over a new team is, number one, they go to what we call the action imperative. They want to change things too quickly. And they forget that their subordinates are also going through a transition. You are a new leader, they're trying to understand you, give people a chance. Number two, leaders come with the answer. And your people kind of know when you are coming with an answer from another organization to them. Because you're bringing stuff and you're not even asking for their input. And what they think is, okay, so whatever we've been doing here is nonsense. You are the man, and they sabotage you. They can. Your direct reports can sabotage you. So one of the best things we can do as leaders is to understand that people are transitioning. Help them in their transition. So the first meeting you have with your direct reports, you tell them what your leadership style is, how you prefer. Do you prefer WhatsApp? Do you prefer this? To help them transition better. The approach of just saying, I'm here, just get on with it, doesn't help. And leaders who are insecure, for example, one of the things they learn in a transition is that people will talk about your predecessor. They will talk about, because the predecessor had an impact. But as a leader, you must not focus on your predecessor. And sometimes leaders come in and they think they must punch holes into the predecessor's work so that they look good. But you cannot discredit your predecessor without discrediting yourself. It does not work. It does not work. All you have to do is to focus on the work, bring your people in, understand that you are transitioning, they are transitioning, meet them halfway.
That's powerful. I think it's almost, it's like the story of Trevor Noah. You know, when he took over The Daily Show, people were saying like, wow, man, you know, Jon Stewart was a legend, man, amazing dude. Like, how are you going to fill those big shoes? And Trevor said, well, I brought my own shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. You know, it's not going to destroy the legacy of Jon Stewart, but he's going to walk in his own shoes.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Oh, yeah, no preaching, Lyndon. Eh? Just a question. One question only. How many questions do you want to take at Parliament?
Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Speech Mfana, great work. Can we give him a round of applause? I think the concept of Midway is a gem.
Yeah.
Now, what sort of energy does one need to be able to transition? Because you may have an energy that will pull you down while you have great ideas.
Yeah.
So what sort of energy do you maintain through your transitions? Thank you.
I think Glenn is here from Henley, and he knows this. One of the things we always discuss, and I've discussed this with you, is who do you go to as a speaker when you are not motivated enough? When you are going through stuff, and we go through stuff.
Motivates.
Yeah, we go through serious stuff. And I think the type of energy you need is someone who will be up when you are down. You know what I mean? Like the calls that you have, Linda will motivate you for 45 minutes in a call, in a telephone call. That's the kind of thing you need. You don't need an energy of someone, you tell them, I've just registered for a BCom. And they say, yeah, that's what you said 5 years ago. You don't need those types of people. Yeah. You need somebody who's going to say, go for it, Mvan. I'm behind you. I'm doing this. And it is so important. And some of the things, sometimes people say, this motivational thing, it's motivational gibberish, what. But I can tell you now that there comes a time when you are too deep in a pit. You can't even see the light. You need someone who's going to throw that rope, throw the stairs, and help you pick up, at least so that you can see the light. And there are people who can do that, and we need to do that for each other, and not have these fake lives when we are slaying but we are dying.
Yes.
Good evening, Planet Shakers.
Thank you. Is the Planet Fitness?
lebitso la ka ke Sana. It's a comment. It's a comment. It's not
Okay.
a question. So nna ke rata hore leadership Siphiwe. You don't know me. I know you from Facebook. This is the first time. we
Okay.
used it, Yes.
Thanks, Sada.
Hangata re rata, we like paying tribute to people when they are dead. So I would like to say the vision e Modimo a e beileng ko wena. I think this is the relevant time. And then sitting, looking up to you, you don't know what you're doing to people like us. Yes, and then you making this world a better place because we learn from you and then we share whatever we learn from people like you with other people looking up to us. So your leadership,
It was deep as I approach summary.
Okay, Askis. Nama brother, okay, this is my first time being around such environment. So my question is like, I went through your website just to get to know more about the client, you know, and from my team, they told me that you are from Orange Farm, and I was like, Orange Farm? Orange Farm? You know, from Orange Farm. So I thought I would come here, perform and leave, but I just do it so that I can also learn new things, so that I can also expand my horizons. But my question that I have now, for since you are from Orange Farm, my question is, okay, because I hear you're talking about transition.
Yeah.
How you as an individual
Yeah.
manage to have that transition from, and because we are from an informal settlement, so it is tough for one to actually be successful coming from such a place. It's only few, maybe out of 10, it's 0. It's 0. Like true, like for real. You know, because when we come from, there's a lot of elements and factors that makes us not to actually make it in life.
That's true.
Peer pressure, initiation school, and that's our primary thing. It's our goal. It's either initiation school or jail, like between the two. So that so it's true, so that you can belong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you are this type of guy who speaks English, bye, we will beat you for that, or you think you are bad. You know what I mean? So my question is, how did you, as an individual?
Yeah.
Because I've never. It's only a few.
Yeah.
Out of even 10 or even 20, it could only be one. So when, as a person, how did you become such a phenomenal individual, a great speaker, and someone of your caliber? How did you manage to survive Orange Farm? Juang. You're not supposed to be here. So, and also, what are you doing to empower those because me as a comedian right now, I was looking at how I can also go back to the community and just, even though it's something that will be difficult, but we can sometimes spark that mind. We might not bring change, but we might spark that, something to that individual. That individual might bring change to others, but we would be the source of that change.
That's true.
We'll spark an idea or something, or awaken something inside that particular person, and they might do something to help the community. So how did you actually transition from that guy Wako Range Farm, and also what are you doing to also give back to the community, because Orange Farm needs people like you. We cannot give Kwa Kosowetu or Kokaikai because Orange Farm it's an informal settlement. There's nyaupes, there's drugs, and there's just everything. So yeah.
You know, I had the question first time. No, thanks, Samari. So it is. So you know, when I was talking about when you are deep in the pit, you need someone to come and fetch you. I've written this in my previous 2 books. For me, there's a gentleman I honor wherever I can, who helped me, and many of us who are in this room, Dr. Ezekiel Matole helped me big time, big time. And I talk about him everywhere. So he came to Orange Farm in the late 90s, and being commissioned by a bishop to come and open a church in the late 90s. I was there. I was young. I didn't know what this thing called vision is, and it drummed it into our minds and hearts every Sunday to say your talent is your money. Where you are is not your end, is only your beginning, and provoked me so hard. And many of the people who are in this room, my friends are there, provoked us very, very deeply. And that's why I could dream something better than what I saw, because a vision transcends current reality. You start thinking about things that you can't see wherever you are. So he did that for me, which is why I deliberately made sure that I start this project to go and do it for other people. And our fellow man from Orange Farm, Siphiwe Moyo, is here. Everybody knows Siphiwe. Siphiwe does an incredible job every year. In fact, more than once a year, he's in Orange Farm putting together great programs. We come and share whatever because we want to help other people. So in fact, you are doing a great job, and that's what we need to do.
Eta,
Paul.
how's it?
Chapuzet.
Good. My question is, so how do you, and we spoke about God, and so let's say you get exposure, and you can see in life, I see it happening where you go to places where you feel good, you should not be here. Maybe you're with people that are more qualified, the people that know better, and you've got this thing in you, but you're nyatsa, because of your history, because of whatever, and you feel good. Hey, when I think about where I come from, when I think about my qualifications, I should not be here. I should not be even be speaking.
Yeah.
So how do you come up and take out something where you feel that you don't even qualify to be there?
I think if it's way too deep, you need somebody you can sit down with who's a coach who can unleash potential in you. And many coaches are here. You can see the industry I work in. Many coaches are here sometimes. And one of the things we learn in human behavior is that telling people does not yield results. It is asking them proper, good questions that will unleash their potential. And sometimes you need to spend time with somebody who can make you see who you are. And sometimes people see who you are before you see it. And I remember also when he was sitting at the back, talked about me speaking globally, and before I knew how to speak regionally, believed in me before I believed in myself. And sometimes you need people like that who are going to make you see who you are, just by asking you and probing you. Really, really powerful stuff. And they help you change your mind. So thank you, Oswald.
Siphiwe,
That.
congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
You have done well.
Thanks, Dad.
A brief question. You spoke about 3 phases of the transition journey.
Yes.
The second one being Midway, which
Yes.
your book talks to. At times you'll find that a person is making that transition, they are in the middle. And the tendency of looking back to say, maybe I made a mistake, often comes up. How will you encourage a person in that phase to proceed?
Yeah. Yo, that's a powerful question, Ntate Mlukume. Thank you so much. And one of the things we know about research, so Professor Watkins, who wrote a book called The 90-Day Rule, did a study and to show when you're in a transition, how long does it take for you to break even? Because when you're in a transition, when you start, you are a cost to your company. They are paying you, but you're not adding value. And it's proven that each person takes 6.2 months to start breaking even in a new job when you're in a transition. And so what people do, if they don't understand the transition process, is that when you're in the midway, the neutral zone, because you know that those things don't excite you anymore, but you also know that these things are scaring you, you are tempted to go back and say, maybe I was fine in my previous level because I was an exceptional performer. But if you understand transition, and that's where you need to learn about transition, is that you must never be tempted to proclaim yourself that I don't know this thing before you go through this stage. And just sit and understand that if you're changing a level, there is no way, if your KPI has 5 requirements, you're gonna know 5. You're gonna know 2. So if you're coming from being an exceptional performer, before you become a fully performer, you're gonna be here where you're not performing. And you have to be comfortable with not performing. And you have to realize that you're not gonna be the star anymore. You have to realize that something has died. So you need to calm down, and your bosses, most of the time, they say, sometimes bosses say, there is no time to give you, just get on with it. And you need to push back and negotiate timelines. Because when you try and act too much without studying the environment, and there's 2 things you must study when you're in a transition, by the way. It's the technical skill, which people study, but more important is the political, cultural things in an organization that mostly kill people. So you need to learn in this organization, are meetings robust or cordial? If in these organizations meetings are cordial, don't come with your robustness, you'll be in trouble. You need to understand in these organizations, do approvals happen at a formal EXCO meeting or somewhere else? So you need to calm down and learn that. You need to understand, where does power lie in this organization? Does it lie in the formal structures, or you must lobby people before you bring a proposal? Because if you don't know, you bring a proposal and everybody else thinks you are trying to outshine them. So relax when you are in a transition. Learn these things, otherwise you are going to cause your own stagnation.
Thank you. Congratulations, Siphiwe.
Thank you, Muli.
Well done. I think on the Christian front, you have spoken a profound statement that says, maybe in my own words, I think we are constipated with Bible verses. We now need actions that are practical to ensure that we can bring to the fore things that are actually spoken in the Word of God, for ordinary people to see that this is not just a theory, but it is doable. Okay. Now, my question is, there is this phenomenon, especially around us as Africans, that when you have achieved what you have achieved, looking back at your background and realizing a number of people that are left behind, that you actually start feeling guilty of what you have achieved, whilst conditions were the same. So how do you ensure that when you are at Midway, when this train that has just stopped and is leaving for Western area, that when the one that comes, you do not get delayed in trying to see whether all your peers are in this one that is going to Ferriana?
Sure. Wow. British Clubs, thank you so much, sir. And I think I call it transition guilt in the book, where exactly that happens. You realize that many people are not coming through the journey, and sometimes it is people who want to make you feel guilty. Sometimes people, but I remember, sometimes people say, so busy, so busy. And the issue is me busy, very. So I'm not going to feel guilty for being busy. The only thing I can do is to try and let's help each other. But if you are not trying to get into that train and go on with me, but you are trying to pull me back by making me feel guilty because of the things that are happening, I'm not going to shrink to accommodate you. And it's a tough thing to do. It takes a while before you come to that point that says, what are the intentions behind these comments? Because initially they make you feel so bad. Initially you're like, oh my God, what? Initially you do that, but there comes a point where you say, when somebody asks you a question, is it because they want help? Or is it because they are trying to stop you from going to the next journey? And that difference for me is very important. If I realize this thing is not working, I thank you, I'm sorry, I still love you, but I'm still at Midway here. I'm still going somewhere. So that's my approach. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, 2 more questions, and then I think in the interest of time, we will do the book signing and stuff. So one is here, short, sharp, sweet, no synopsis, no context, no history, no setting us up.
How's the spirit?
How's it?
So I'll try to keep it as short as possible. So now you have someone who's at their midway. They've acknowledged it. They've acknowledged the uncomfortability, and they're ready to make their next move. However, and it almost a follow up on the question you just had now to say that yes, you have people who are perceived to be jealous, but now here's someone who's stuck because they feel indebted to people who've helped them get there. So these are people that gave you your first big break. These are people that were with you or were there for you. What do you say to that person? And it's not, those people are not making you feel guilty, but do you feel indebted to them, say that when I make this decision, they stand to lose out? What do you say to that person?
So I think there's a difference between empowering people and disempowering them. I know it sounds easy, but when you keep getting requests for people airtime, initially you give airtime, right? And then you give another airtime. But there comes a point where you say, there's no airtime coming anymore. Tell me how I can help you start making things for yourself. I remember someone I had been helping for a while, Tepo, and it's, helping, and they would ask for this, and I would help, and then I found them a job. And after a week, they left the job and said, I can't work here. I'm getting paid little money. And then I calculated the money that they were getting, right? My first job was at Mr. Price before I got the internship to the MQA. And when you look at the amount that I was earning at Mr. Price and the amount that they're earning, when you look at the time value of money, same amount. So if I worked at Mr. Price for 2.5 years, but you can't work here in the same amount because now you are better, I am not funding your airtime. I can't. Because when you do that, then you are not empowering. You are just feeling guilty for nothing. So help as much as possible, empower. But many people don't understand this, that sometimes your uncle it's not true that your uncle or your aunt has forgotten about you. They're just tired of funding your hair and your whatever. All they are waiting for is to say, Uncle, kupa stock, and then I will do something and transform my life. So it's just the way you do it, in my view, that makes a huge difference.
All right. Over this side, Siphiwe, to your right, to your left-ish, slowly, to your right, slow. Up at the back, I'm waving. Our last question is going to be from C2. C2 is from Twice Blue, so I'm biased.
Hi, Siphiwe.
Hi, Situ.
Congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
So, my question is, as people, we have a collective identity or personality to accommodate, the everyday life, family, friends, work, etc. And then you have your personality and identity as a person, And so my question is, how do you balance the two identities when you're in that midway? Because you get lost, you get confused, and there are a lot of voices going on. So in order for you to get into that train that you wanna get to, to get to where you wanna get to, how do you silence those voices and how do you stick to your identity?
You? Mara, you are the psychologist, Mos. Me, I don't have voices in my head, I promise. I think it's just a lot of managing what you hear. And social media is not helping us because we see people doing well and we look at their journeys, we don't know where they start. We're looking at the output, we don't know the input. If Linda was here, if Linda had the mic, they would say, we're looking at their glory, but we don't look at their story, And because of that, we get clouded by these things. So one of the things I think must happen is that some of us must just switch the phone off a little bit. If it's bringing too much pressure, or switch whatever is bringing you this pressure for you, switch it off. If you can do this solitude thing, do it. I can't. Silence makes me so uncomfortable. But do something that will help protect your space, because this pressure that we are putting ourselves in is not helping our journey. I know I could answer it more, but I'll do it in the office, ne?
All right, we've run out of time. I know a lot of you guys wanted to ask questions, but I think there'll be time to network with Siphiwe now. But I just want one favor. I got one thing I want you all to do for me. Can you guys sort of like do this? Can you do this with your hands, both your hands like this, right? And then I want you to say, Siphiwe! Siphiwe! So as we wrap, we're going to do some book sales and book signing at the corner over there. Book is priced at 200 Rand. There are point of sale machines. We accept cash. And for those of you who want to buy in bulk, we've got a special price of 200 Rand per book. Because we can. Thanks. So I know people like Glenn who've got 60 there. We'll give you a special price of 200 Rand. So let us, there's nothing as sad as not supporting local guys. Siphiwe is one of our own. He's not a novice, extremely phenomenal guy. I mean, I still can't believe that I work with him in the same office from time to time. Although I don't do much work. I'm very much of a distraction. These guys, even Rifila do all the work. I just come for coffee and tea. Thanks. So it's really been great, Siphiwe. Thank you so much. We're going to support this book. You're a phenomenal human being. We wish you every single success and God's richest blessings. Everyone, let's just give him a round of applause. Thank you. All right, let's go buy books.
Can I just thank some people, if you don't mind?
Oh, yes, you want to thank people?
Yeah, I want to thank some people. I promise I'll take 2 minutes. First of all, shout out to Thabang, my wife. Thabang and I have gone through major transitions in life and we are still here. So thank you, sweetie, for being the person that you are. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My daughter Obakeng is here.
She did this, guys. She did this.
My brother, wait, before you go, fetch your books. My brother over there, Jablane, is releasing his first gospel singing.
Yes.
Well done, bro. Just want to thank you, and his wife is here, Shem. His wife, they're doing a sister thing. So thank you so much to my family. Groom her well, babes. So thank you so much to my family. I want to thank people who worked on the book very, very quickly. There are some people who did an amazing job. All the people who did my reviews, Pelma Porsche for the forward, Caesar is somewhere here. Hi, Choms. Ntswaki is here. Thank you so much, Ntswaki. Thanks, my friend. Who else is here who did the review? Masinyane was too busy to do a review. I asked her,
here.
she was like, I can't do this, you know. So thank you so much.
Rwanda, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's like
Traveling.
the world. Masinyane, thank you. I tell you all the time, and you don't believe me, but you changed my life. Masinyane was my boss when I left corporate in 2013, and you allowed me. The first keynote I did was because my boss went to Exco and said, allow staff to listen to this guy. And thank you so much. Thank you very much. I want to thank Leah for editing my book. Thank you. You've done a good job.
Yes.
Leah has done a good job because I still don't know the difference between adjectives and what, but I wrote. Yes.
What it is, Siphiwe, mfana sekhaya. Adjective is describing word, ne?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a verb. Somebody said verb.
An adjective is a verb. No, it can't be.
Thank you, Greg, for the book cover. Thank you, Scoobs. Thank Bafunzi. Thanks, Pastor Nati, for DJing. Thanks, the guys. This is global television, like we're global even now. Thanks to global television for coming. Thank you, TK, an amazing photographer. TK Mukhotsi, if you've never heard of this guy, you have to book him to do your photography. But he chooses. There are things that he doesn't do. It's crazy. It just, nah, that's just, I can't do that. I want to thank Baruti. Thank you so much for coming. Mruti Slaks, Mrutimpo. Mrutimpo is one of the people that helped me when I was going through stuff. Like if you can go to an inbox, you're gonna see some crazy things. I'm like, Mruti, I can't. So thank you so much. And then I know I'm forgetting somebody. Samari, thank you. Samari, I've paid. I don't have to thank. Yeah, I want to thank a very important person. Noktula, can you please come here, please, if you don't mind, please. And I promise I'm closing. I promise. I know I'm forgetting something. If I'm forgetting you, please forgive me. I really, I want to introduce Noktula to you because Noktula was handling the entire ticketing system, and people thought maybe she's my PA. She's not. She runs a proper events, ticketing, hostessing, what else? Can you give her a mic, please? I know you don't like these things. Here, these people have money. Go for it.
Opportunity to sell myself.
Yeah.
Yes, mini events. So I mainly handle registration. I handle guest lists, RSVPs, and the books. Yeah.
So her business is top notch. And then they're very top-notch. And lastly, last but not least, my business partners, Refilo, thank you so much. One of the best strategists I've ever known in my entire life. And she wants to be behind the scenes, and she just tells us what to say. It's crazy. As we say it, you can see her going, yes, that's the way. So thank you so much. And Alex Granger, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Linda, I appreciate you, my bro. Everybody from Twice Blue, I think I need to shut up very soon.
Yes. Thank you very much, everyone. Guys, book sales are open. Let's do this.